How was your day? Nothing great. Same shit, different color. Ah. Man. Hey man. You ruined it. Do you realize you ruined it? This suggests that you do not want to share your side of stories. And this also suggests that you're in no mood for conversation. Man, you are so dead. You are so dead. This is sinful. And this will always be remembered and never be forgotten. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm sure you're smart enough not to make this mistake, this man dead. And if not, then, God bless you. Well, until now, what we guys had done was we'd spoken about creating stories and the impact and importance of stories and storytelling as individuals, as brands, and as business entrepreneurs. Now, in today's chapter, there is a lot to cover, and it's going to be about the what and how of storytelling. How do we deliver it? How do we narrate stories and stuff? So what I've done is in interest of, so I won't be able to cover up the entire gamut of things because it needs to be customized basis requirements and of individuals, brands, businesses, everything. But there are certain key aspects of this storytelling piece that I have kind of put together in my notes and on my laptop here so that I don't end up missing out. So before we start, there's something that's really interesting that has come up. Someone from the audience had an interesting query. She's a senior manager from a retail startup. She says that if I have to convey my product story to my customers, do I have to stand and enact or record videos or do something which is dramatic and gimmicky and so on? And what if I do not have the bandwidth and budgets for this? I think this is extremely important that we understand that storytelling is not necessarily about physically speaking to the audiences. There are various ways to do it. You could actually use a lot of visual arts, you could use doodle arts, you could use infographics, you could actually have some real cool creative communications along with your products. You could use 2D, 3D props alongside your products and stuff like that. And there are various ways to kind of communicate that kind of story. So here I'm taking a couple of minutes to kind of to explain her query with some sort of relevant example. So I have this pair of raw jeans. Imagine that you guys are into apparel and fashion, and this is the product that you need to talk about. The minute I display this product, how does this product eventually talk to the customers is something it's going to be something very unique. Vis-a-vis a product which has more stories to say. So while there is merit in both the products, it's important that we also amplify while the product does majority of the storytelling. The tools that we use to kind of amplify the whole storytelling experience will also be critical. So use of props could be one. You could have some storytelling. You could have some some interesting infographics that narrate a rider has worn this X kind of a jeans or anything around it. So I think it's not really important to kind of physically stand there. There are various ways to do it, and that's what we'll be talking about in this chapter. The fate of any story will eventually depend upon the way we choose to deliver the story. Yes, the narration aspect of it. Not every story needs to be dramatic as what? Nahi. Our audiences must appreciate why we are here. What's the purpose behind our story that we are trying to narrate? And what is so special about the story that they should stay over? Defining the purpose before we set out our process of storytelling is extremely critical. A story without the purpose is a recipe for disaster. So I would also like to cite yet another example from our brand consultation experience. We were brought in to kind of consult this brand, which had a fairly large global appeal. But the biggest challenge that the brand was then facing was that their consumers were actually not really being able to understand the kind of narration that they were trying to build around the brand. So from a distance, it looked like the brand has almost everything working right for them. So why are they in such a situation? They had a good product, they had great retail collaborations, they had one of the coolest faces of the time, celebrity faces of the time. So what's going wrong? So once the team started actually digging a bit deeper, we realized that yes, they have great product design team in place, they have a great retail operations team in place, they also had a robust marketing team in place, but they did not have a binding common brand purpose, and that's what was leaving the customers into a total chaos, and that what was creating a brand mayhem for this brand. And as they say, it's better to have a champion team with aligned common purpose rather than having a team of champions with unique agendas and purposes. So what's critical is that each one of us should have a set defined purpose, because it helps define what kind of people would eventually like to get on board and participate into our journey. It also helps us align the role plays a little better. It does not leave your customers totally confused. It helps them to decipher information and be able to respond wisely as to what we are trying to communicate. And at the end of it, it'll help us build a seamless storytelling experience. Second most important thing is to understand the kind of audience we are catering to. I'm sure when we guys communicate with our reporting managers, we don't do it the same manner as we do it with our kids or our wife or girlfriends or mother or friends or whoever. We weigh whom we are speaking to, and that's how the agendas for the storytelling get set, and that's what defines us, the way we also deliver the story. Now, every story needs an audience. So it's extremely critical that we understand the audiences, where they're coming from, what are their belief systems, what's the mindset, what are the cultural nuances. All of these things put together will help us define how we deliver our story. Now, for example, just imagine us doing a lot of preachy stuff with the millennials. It just doesn't work. I mean, they don't want to listen to anything which is extremely preachy. Also, the things around Hamare Zamane Mein kind of a lingo doesn't work with tweens or Gen Zs, So we will really need to tweak the kind of content to be able to suit and make it more real, relevant, and relatable to the kind of audiences that we are catering to. It needs to stay authentic. The consumers need to be able to relate with that, and the kind of storytelling that we do will also need to stay dynamic and fluid, so that we guys could be it's easier for anybody to be able to adapt to that story and then make it more relevant for the then generations whom we are engaging with. The third most vital thing about storytelling as a process is the human aspect of it. Well, in today's scenario, I might sound a little silly when I weigh human emotion or artificial intelligence, but that's the truth. A story that tickles senses and touch human emotions has the real power to make waves. Today, when the markets are cluttered with products and information, and practically every marketer proclaims to be the best, where audiences are also overexposed, but at the same time they have limited attention span. During these times, we will have to ensure that the way we communicate stories remains very, very simple yet significant. It connects at the heart, and that's what will make a lasting human connect and a better recall value. The fourth vital aspect of storytelling is visuals over words. Well, I personally love to toy around with words and love to indulge in creative writing. But let's also understand the fact that not everyone is great at visualization. And that's why they say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. How many times it has happened that our emails or text messages get wrongly read and perceived, and that's where our voice calls and video calls comes as real saviors. I personally believe that visuals, when teamed with audios, are far more engaging than merely written words. Now, the visuals could be in any format, any medium. It could be printed, it could be illustrated, it could be doodled, it could be pictures, images, it could be videos, collages, 2D or 3D props. It could just be vector infographics for that matter. Whatever we want to do, we will have to eventually try to strike a balance between creative content writing, visuals, and audios, and then bring them together to develop our own unique style of storytelling which best suits our purpose and is easily understood by the audiences we are catering to. And lastly, guys, don't forget to be innovative in your approach. This is the magic wand which I call the OLI approach, where O stands for observe, L for listen, A for adopt, then A for adapt, and then finally innovate. So guys, remember, stories are an amalgamation of great experiences from the past, curated and brought together to craft a strong narrative today, which in turn will define and shape up a promising future. And all that with truckloads of fun. So guys, that's the last one. Don't forget to send me love, and please feel free to write to me in case you wish to engage more. Till then, create stories and make waves. Bye-bye.